Have you ever wondered what the real secret is to connecting with people? To actually getting them on your side? Well, today, we're cracking open Dale Carnegie's legendary book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and we're going to translate its timeless wisdom for the world we live in right now.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the one single rule that basically governs all human influence. Then we'll dive into the 3 habits you absolutely need, the art of just being genuinely likable, and some killer strategies to persuade people without starting a fight. We'll wrap it up by looking at leadership and asking the big question, does this advice from almost 100 years ago even work today?
All right, let's dive into section 1, the one rule of influence. Before we get into any tactics or tricks, you have to get this one core idea. Everything else we're going to talk about is built on this. If you get this right, you've pretty much unlocked the secret to connecting with anyone.
So let me just start with this question. It's a bit of a mind bender. Carnegie asks something just like it. What if your success in life has less to do with your expertise and your knowledge, and way more to do with your ability to just connect with people? He argued that your people skills are often way more important than your technical skills. And that right there shifts our whole focus from what we know to how we interact.
And here it is. This is the master key to the entire book, the whole philosophy. We think we're dealing with creatures of logic, but we're not. We are dealing with creatures of pure emotion. So if you want to influence anybody, your boss, a customer, even a friend, you have to stop appealing to their logic and start appealing to their feelings, their pride, their sense of importance. Every single thing we'll cover from here on out flows from this one powerful idea.
Okay, so if it's all about emotion, how do we actually do that? How do we put it into practice? Well, that brings us right to section 2, the 3 foundational habits. Think of these as the building blocks for every effective relationship you'll ever have. These are the fundamentals.
And these 3, they really work together. First off, just stop criticizing. Seriously, think about it. Criticism puts people on the defensive immediately. It builds resentment, and it never ever creates lasting change. So what do you do instead? Step 2, you give honest, sincere appreciation. This isn't about fake flattery, okay? It's about genuinely looking for the good in people and pointing it out. And third, you have to arouse an eager want. This is huge. Instead of talking about what you want, you figure out what they want and show them how to get it. It's all about them.
So once you've got those core habits down, you can move on to what Carnegie called the art of being liked. And let me be clear, these are not manipulative tricks. These are 6 simple behaviors that create real, positive connections and they make people want to be around you.
The craziest thing here is just how simple this all is. It all starts with being genuinely interested in other people. Put your phone away, ask real questions, and just listen. Number 2, smile. It's that easy. It's a universal welcome sign. And then there's using someone's name. It shows you see them, that they matter. And look at the last 3. They're all about shifting the spotlight off of you. Talk about their interests, let them do most of the talking, and find a sincere way to make them feel important. You're basically making the other person the hero of the conversation. I just want to pause on this one for a second, because it's so powerful. The sweetest sound in any language. Think about that. When you use someone's name, it cuts through all the noise. It's personal. It tells them, I see you. You are an individual. Of all the tips in the book, this one might be the simplest, but man, does it have an immediate impact.
Okay, so building rapport is one thing. People like you, that's great. But what happens when you disagree? What if you need to actually change someone's mind? That brings us to section 4, how to win people to your way of thinking. Not by arguing them into submission, but by creating genuine agreement.
Now this might sound completely backward, but here it is. You can't win an argument. You just can't. Because even if you prove you're right with all your facts and logic, you've made the other person feel bad. You've hurt their pride. So yeah, you might have won the debate, but you've completely lost their goodwill. The only way to really truly win is to never have the fight in the first place. So if arguing is out, what do? Well, the strategy is to disarm, agree, and then guide. First, you never ever start with the words, "you're wrong." It's like a red flag. Instead, you try to honestly find merit in their point of view. And here's the superpower. If you're wrong, just admit it. Right away. It's so disarming. Then find common ground. Get them saying yes to things you both agree on. And from there, you can ask questions that gently guide them, letting them feel like the brilliant new idea was theirs all along. It's persuasion through collaboration.
Now, when you get good at this kind of persuasion, you're not just influential anymore. You're a leader. And as we'll see in this next section, a real leader doesn't command people. They inspire them. The whole goal is to make people want to do things, not feel like they have to.
This leadership style is all about humility. It's about empowerment. For instance, before you even think about pointing out someone else's mistake, talk about a similar one you made. Instead of barking an order, ask a question like, hey, what would you think if we tried it this way? That gives them ownership. And this is crucial. Always let the other person save face. Don't embarrass them. And finally, don't wait for perfection to give praise. Praise the small steps, the little improvements. That's what keeps people going.
All right, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. This book was written in 1936. So in our super fast-paced, digital, sometimes cynical world, is this stuff still relevant or is it just hopelessly old-fashioned? Let's take an honest look.
So the strengths are pretty obvious, right? The focus on empathy, on respect, on seeing the other person's point of view, that stuff is never going out of style. But let's be real about the weaknesses. Some of the advice can feel a little idealistic, maybe even naive. If you're in a really cutthroat, competitive space, just being nice might not be enough. The trick, I think, is to adapt the spirit of the advice, not to literally follow every single example from the 1930s.
So maybe, just maybe, Carnegie's advice isn't outdated at all. In fact, in a world that's more and more about AI, data, and logic, maybe our ability to connect, empathize, and influence on a deeply human level isn't just a soft skill. Maybe it's the ultimate competitive advantage. And that leaves us with a final question. In a world obsessed with logic, is mastering human emotion the single most valuable skill you can learn?